Well, hey there, YouTube. Petey Twofinger chiming in with a video on the creepy clown phenomenon. And today I wanted to offer something that most of the other videos dealing with the subject haven't really talked about, and that's the origins of this. It seems to me what we're seeing now is true. There is photographic evidence with the dawning of cell phone use that we see and cameras being everywhere. What makes this current wave of creepy clown phenomenon so incredibly disturbing is the imagery associated with it. Not only are you first told the story and shown a still image, you're seeing actual live video, which that really hits close to home. But going back, looking at the possible origins of this phenomenon, trying to garner any kind of, there's a lot of videos and a lot of them claim to offer you, well, this is the explanation. You know, when you actually consider it, there is probably a number of different psychological profiles of people that actually do dress up in these clown suits and go out and terrorize people. There's pranksters, there's thrill seekers, there's perverts, and then there's probably people that have been paid to do it. Initially, I mean, we do have the It movie coming out, and then we have a possibility of going on a real tangent, some sort of control for fear on society, as we are being kind of probed and experimented on as a society, with the knowledge that everyone, literally everyone, has a fear of clowns. What better way to gauge what works and what doesn't, or set up a massive countrywide test to gauge fear responses, and utilizing image as an evil clown. So we have all of these different possibilities, including one that it would be fabrication. Going back, there's something called the Harlequin, appears in Dante's Inferno. Images of this, it resembles a clown. It's a prankster, jokester type of a spirit. Also, one of its features is gluttony. So certainly a precursor to a clown. Going also back before Stephen King wrote It, the clown thing, that probably has to do with quite a bit of copycat type of stuff. That came out in 85, I believe. But going back to 1981 in Boston, there was reports that were published and warnings that were giving out around schools. I'm going to read from altobscura.com. On May 6th that year, police received a report 1 or 2 men wearing clown outfits were driving a candy-laden van around Longwood School. The van even had a broken headlight for maximum punch buggy-style kid attraction. The next day, a similar report came from Franklin Park Horseshoe Playgrounds. Although this report, the man only had half a clown suit on as he was naked from the waist down. According to the Boston Globe, article entitled "Pupils Warned of Clowns," the school district's investigative counselor quickly issued a memo instructing students to stay away from strangers, especially ones dressed as clowns. I'm coming up on 50, and I remember the movies and the media hype about stranger danger, specifically vans. This is often cited, the clown, and associated with some sort of a van, and the act of luring children. Although now what we're seeing is actually, not only are these, they're not figment of our imagination. These are actual people dressing up in clown suits and going out and harassing people. This guy that wrote this article has some real interesting things to say. I wanted to include this in the video. His name is Coleman, and he wrote a book called The Copycat Effect, an exploration of how media coverage affects trends. Suicide clusters, school shootings, terrorist attacks, and phantom clowns are all driven from one incident to another by the media reporting on them. Once again, we see the media as being the ultimate criminal. And that certainly says something about where we are going to cast our net, where we are going to attempt to get our news. The phenomenon gets worse when news is bad, Coleman says. Say in an election year, which tend to correspond with phantom clown surges. There was another phantom clown surge in Chicago in 2008. The media concentrates on campaigning so much. If any incidental story comes along, it becomes wall-to-wall news, almost as if they had distraction from the ugliness. He says in this case, he thinks one specific candidate has newsmakers looking for anything else to write about. Trump is the real clown, he says. I think that it's such a bizarre, and like I said, there would be, if you really sat down and thought about this, there would be a handful of different profiles you could come up for the type of person that is going to actually don a clown suit and go. I think that as time passes, I heard a report of someone in a clown suit murdering someone who was 16 years old, stabbing, and I also heard a report of a clown being shot in the head in New York City. So we're starting to see the ante being upped again. And also, I mean, how can you do a creepy clown video without mentioning the Godfather, John Wayne Gacy, and his pogo, the clown outfit, as in the 70s. He was actually wearing his costume when he was abducting, torturing, and killing some of his 33 victims. He was known to force his way into parades or just, show up unannounced at a parade. So we have that kind of cementing. So, I mean, where is this going? Like I said, we're going to see the violence increase. I think that it's going to be kind of a repeated theme. I don't think we've seen the last of the crazy clowns, although as the weather gets colder, it's definitely gonna, we're gonna have more other bigger fish to fry. So we see especially what's going to be happening very soon, the hurricane. I would suspect that the real news or massive tragedies are certainly gonna, these are creepy clown stories are slow news day artifacts. So before we wrap this up, I do want to mention that I attended John Wayne Gacy's execution. I live pretty close to Statesville Prison where he was put to death. And they had announced on the news that they were concerned and that they had extra police presence because they were worried about tons of people showing up. So myself and my friend at the time, my drinking buddy, who is no longer with us, he passed away from speedballing, from injecting cocaine. But my friend and I, Billy, we went over there to Statesville, and it was just absolutely incredible. That's a whole nother video. I will have to do a video on that sometime. It was a mob scene. It was like nothing else I had ever seen, with the police driving with their windows up and their lights flashing with no sirens on, driving through this just sea of drunken people screaming at the top of their lungs. Literally a lynch mob scene. Most of those people, I think they probably had been sexually abused because the amount of anger that was on display and the senseless kind of crowd mentality that they were out for blood that night. So I was witness to that. It was an absolutely incredible experience. I can't tell you the amount of people that were there. This mob scene, it was like nothing else I have ever experienced and ever will. So that's an aspect of this that if you're out there and you're thinking about putting on a clown suit or wearing a creepy clown outfit for Halloween, I would reconsider. When it comes to people protecting their children. In the 70s, things were a little bit different. Now, I think you're much more likely to end up being assaulted or even worse. If you put on that appearance of that ultimate evil, that creepy clown outfit, I would really think twice. So let's see where this goes. It's an interesting story to be following. Certainly less apocalyptic than most of the other conspiracy type or unusual type videos we see on YouTube. That's not healthy. Let's keep our minds out of the gutter, people. So, petey twofinger saying thank you for joining me on this really unusual video. Have a safe holiday season. Let's be smart and be safe. Peace.